Hi, my name is John, and today we'll be reading Bless This Odd Foreign Policy Couple, Trump and Paul, by Ralph Z. Hallow, The Washington Times, Sunday, February 3rd, 2019. They exchanged insults as GOP presidential nomination rivals in 2016. Now they are brothers in their skepticism about America's rush since the 1960s to intervene militarily in the affairs of other nations to make them over in our image. We're talking about President Trump and Kentucky Senator Rand Paul. That intervention's penchant manifested now and again under the likes of Teddy Roosevelt and Woodrow Wilson, and it became a more steady inclination since Jack Kennedy's initially covert actions in Southeast Asia in the early 1960s. With the exception of Ronald Reagan, our presidents since JFK have been unable to resist the stirring bugle and drums call of what President Dwight D. Eisenhower called the military-industrial complex. Our presidents, often unwilling to forego meddling militarily to make nations over in our own image, can't resist that pulse-quickening proclamation long after George M. Cohan that we're coming over and won't come back till it's over there. Trouble is, it's never over, not since VJ Day, August 14th, 1945. We've been at war in Syria since September 22nd, 2014. 4 years, 4 months, and 2 weeks. We've been killing and getting killed in Afghanistan for 19 years at a cost of $6 trillion and 1,856 U.S. fighters killed in action. We fought and won World War II in 3 years, 8 months, and 22 days at a cost of $4 trillion in today's dollars. Astonishing as it is disappointing, there was only one Republican, Ted Cruz, a few days ago with the good sense not to wrap himself in the bloody flag of misguided saber-rattling patriotism. Mr. Cruz actually voted with the 22 Democrats in opposition to the McConnell-led scolding of Mr. Trump. Mr. Paul, one of 7 Senate Republicans not voting, has said he's very proud of Mr. Trump's withdrawal decision. This is exactly what he promised, and I think the people agree with him, actually. He said on CNN's State of the Union, Mr. Paul rightly sees political good sense as well as a national interest in Mr. Trump sticking to his campaign pledge. We spent several $1 trillion on these wars everywhere, and I think the president promised he'd be different. And it's really one of the reasons he won, Mr. Paul said, because he actually attracts independents who aren't beholden to either party, who say, you know what, why don't we turn attention back to America? Virtually every Democrat senator considering a White House run also voted against the McConnell resolution. That means that siding with Mr. Trump were the likes of Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Kirsten Gillibrand, Cory Booker, Kamala Harris, and Amy Klobuchar. Not exactly Trump lookalikes. What that suggests for the future shape and content of the two major parties is worth pondering over a rare liter of Middleton Irish whiskey. One thing for sure is that the Senate's giving the finger to the president, and he's giving it right back to the Senate in the way Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, Ben Franklin, Sam Adams, Alexander Hamilton, Tom Paine, and George Washington meant for American governance to work. As I read the founders' admonitions, keeping our fighting sons and daughters out of meddling in other people's countries and wars as much as possible is what they meant for the new republic from the start. If with oral and perhaps material support from the United States, anti-Islamist forces in both countries can't defeat the suicide, bombing, mass murderers calling themselves Allah's only true believers, so be it. Mr. Trump and Mr. Paul rightly reasoned that we gave back 99% of the caliphate to Syria's people. Will they stand up now and fight for themselves? They'll have to. And after we withdraw, the rule will be simple. First, we make every effort to spare innocent civilians. Then we will exercise our legitimate right under international law and universally recognized morality to level an Islamist-governed Afghanistan or Syria if either is a source of attacks on us. We will turn the attacking countries into rubble, afterwards to be cleared for use as parking lots, shopping malls, and rebuilt universities that admits women and students of every or no faith, as by way they always have been in Syria under, yes, the harsh Assad family's dictatorship. And by the way, if Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell thinks he's being manly and conservative by leading a legislative rebuke of the president on this most basic and vital foreign policy position, he'd better think again. If, however, Mr. McConnell thinks he's being consistent with the separation of powers that the founders wrote into the Constitution, he's right. But he's not being consistent with the traditional American conservative worldview. Summed up in the vernacular, that view admonishes us to mind our own business as a nation. It further reminds us of the Founding Fathers' highest desideratum. It was for us to act as an exemplar for the rest of the world, to voluntarily emulate or not, but not to pressure to change other governments by force unless and until our vital national interests and the lives of our citizens face imminent destruction from identifiable sources. Any leaders beyond America's borders who doubt President Trump will retaliate in full. And with all deliberate speed, raise your hands now. This video is a production of the School of the White Crane. Hi, my name is John Brooker. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel. And please share this video with family and friends and on social media. May God richly bless you, my beloved.